And we are live, hopefully. I'm gonna give it a couple minutes for people to start flooding in, little by little. Show up, for example, right here. Okay, cool. I'm gonna give it like a minute or two for people to flood in here. Mm, I probably don't expect too much in here. It's. I know it's on a Wednesday. Oh shit. Yeah. Focus. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. We got a couple people in here. What? I probably do. I just got out of work. I saw a couple of the trade rumors starting to pop up here and there, and I see a lot of people talking about the moves Miami should make here and there, and I need to put my 2 cents in because I see some of the people either lying to themselves about what we should do or lying to themselves about who certain players are, and I see some people lying about who the players that we have on our team are. I have a video etched out, ready to go tomorrow, talking about what we should get done this off season and what we should do, who players we have in what positions, and how our contract situations are going to develop this offseason. So hopefully that does well. But overall, right now, we all know what the big news. Bradley Beal and the Washington Wizards are, in the works of looking for a trade to get that man out of Washington. It should have been done like months ago. But I mean, not even months ago, a year, like 3 years ago, honestly. But obviously, better late than never. The good part about it is that if you have the players that are on horrible contracts to put together to probably match Beal's contract, his trade value is next to nothing right now because I see a lot of teams looking at, what Miami can use to trade for him. And honestly, right now, with the way it's looking, the only team that really has a shot to do anything and actually trade for him is Miami, depending on where he wants to go. Right now, obviously, he's been tied to Miami for years now. Um, and when you look at other teams that are in the running to get him, like I guess New York, Philly, Boston, and Miami, I think are the top teams that have a chance of actually picking him up. The only one that really makes sense is Miami. New York, obviously, right now, they have the assets to trade for him, but the big kicker here is Bradley Beal has a no trade clause, and he can decide wherever he wants to go. And in that case, with New York, you're gonna have to sign IQ this summer, and they don't really have anybody on contract heavily that they can really use to facilitate that trade, especially with the money that they're gonna have to put together to trade for him. You're gonna have to definitely put one of your stars and probably handicap your team and not be any better than you were last year. Boston, I see some people talking about Peyton Pritchard, Grant Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, Danilo Gallinari, and all that, and I'm just like, really? And Philly, for them specifically, I just don't know how it makes sense. You're gonna have to involve Tyrese Maxey in that trade, and I don't know how you get. While Bradley Beal is better than Tyrese Maxey, let's not lie about how good Beal is here. He's a very good, I'd say, a top 5 shooting guard in the game right now, probably. But it just doesn't make sense for Philly right now. Injury history, pairing him next to Joel Embiid of all people, especially if James Harden walks, it's not the best idea in the world to try and pair him with Bradley Beal, especially with how good the rest of the East is going to probably be next year. Bradley Beal really is going to push you over the edge. And if you keep James Harden, do you really want to sell your future down the line for Bradley Beal? Another player that needs a ball in his hands to really get going sometimes. Who can work off ball, but his best asset is the way he can do with the ball in his hands. And you're going to take the ball out of James Harden's hands even more when he's already shown reluctance to even move off ball that much this season. And changing his game in his mid-30s really isn't going to help that team at all. So it really doesn't make any sense for Philly to even try doing that because I don't see Washington agreeing to Tobias Harris and Court Maz and one pick for him when you have Miami over here that can offer a little bit more on top of like 3 first-round picks and whatever salary figure they can put together. But I do think the thoughts that Miami can pull him without putting in Tyler Hero, maybe a little bit pushing it. But if it's possible, I don't mind it, but I think that's a little bit pushing it a little too much in the sense that you're kind of trying to like really fleece Washington here, and they have all the leverage in the situation. Really, they don't have to trade Beal right now if they don't want to. They can trade him at the trade deadline if they want. If they want to, they don't have to trade him this specific off season. But what I'm really interested in is how much does Washington value both him and KP? Because my mind right now, if it's Beal and KP, my mind is immediately going to Tyler, Duncan, Kyle, Jovic, the 2023 first round pick, 2027 and 2029. If you're gonna go to a full rebuild, there's no reason to keep KP, and I don't know how many teams are gonna be willing to really take a swing at him, especially since if you're gonna want to take KP right now, he's about to be what 28, I think. If you want to keep KP, Kristaps Porzingis, that's the guy I'm talking about. If you want to keep him right now, um, if you want to trade for him right now, I don't think you're going to put yourself in a position to really win. And that really also doesn't really help you in the future here. He's already let it be known that while he was playing with Luka, that the touches he was getting really did affect him. And right now, Washington, with him being most like their number one option for a majority of the season, he's played extremely well, shot extremely good shooting splits, was a very good rim protector for them. And right now, I don't see a team that really. I see teams that have the assets, but I don't see teams that would want to try to trade for that, especially when he's talked about not having the shot attempts. Now, if he comes out to Miami, most likely he's not going to have the shot attempts either. But you're in the best position possible, probably for you to win. And in this case, he does not have a no trade clause, like Bradley Beal. I think Miami is the team that's willing to take a swing on trying to push him to be a winner. And right now, I'm looking at a lineup of we re-signing Gabe, Les Struess walk, Bradley Beal at the 2, Jimmy at the 3, Bam finally getting to play his true position at the 4, and KP at the 5, or KP at the 4. Either way, it doesn't matter who plays the 4 or the 5, really. It doesn't matter who's really at the position to play the 4 or the 5. I just want Bam to be able to play with the ball in his hands as a point forward, being able to guard guys like Jason Tatum, or guard guys if we're playing Philly, you're guarding Tobias Harris instead of Joel Embiid, and you're more of a roamer. If you're in the finals and you're facing someone like Nikola Jokic, you're more of a roamer and you're able to affect the game that way. I think that's the best suited for his skill set as a defender. The versatility has always been there. He's one of the best defenders. To be honest, he's the best defender in the NBA to me as a 5. He could be on crack as a defender at the 4 spot, especially with a rim protector like KP, who has that much size, has shown that he has some nice verticality when you need him to have it, is being able to shot block at the rim pretty effectively this season. So that's exactly in that realm I want this team to be in. Obviously, if we get both of them, there's nobody else in the East that I think can fuck with this team. I really can't. Dame's already made it pretty clear that most likely he's going to be a Portland Trailblazer next season. But if Miami does pull the trigger and somehow pull off a trade that either gets Bradley Beal or both Bradley Beal and KP, teams like the 76ers and team like Boston are going to get a little bit more antsy, a little bit more, aggressive in trade talks to get better, because this is the team that just made it to the NBA Finals and they just got better. And Miami is showing more times than enough that they're more than enough to handle Boston or Philly if they do match up in the playoffs, even if they're the more talented team. So I do think that if Miami does pull off a trade that either gets one or both, you're going to see Boston probably a lot more aggressive in trying to get a guy like Dame or try to pull something off in the open market. The problem with them, though, is what do you do with Jaylen Brown? Future Warrior Kristaps Porzingis. That's a place that I think probably would be good for him too, but that depends. Does Washington, if you're Washington and you trade Bradley Beal for Tyler Hero, are you then going to trade Kristaps Porzingis for Jordan Poole or Jonathan Kuminga? Honestly, that's not a bad idea. But also Steph, Draymond, and those guys have made it clear that they want to try to run it back right now this season. So who knows what's going on in that Warriors franchise? I'm not going to look at them. I'm not going to look over at the West right now. Right now, I'm just keeping my eyes on the East. But yeah, that's basically how I see it right now. I don't think the chances of Miami getting both are very high. If anything, it's on the lower end and probably have to pull some freaking Godfather voodoo magic to try to be able to pull off both. If both happen, they're the champion favorites. If one happens, I think they move in the spot as probably the favorites come out of the East, if not top 2. in my eyes. Teams people have been trying to put the Bucks in situations where they could trade for Bradley Beal. They're the bottom of that if they're a team that's even looking for it. Who are you gonna trade? Chris Middleton? Whoop you do? Drew Holiday? Like, come on. You already have to re-sign Brook Lopez this year, and God knows how much money he's gonna require, and probably not too much considering that he's getting a lot older. That's a guy I'd love Miami look for if they do trade for Bradley Beal, and it's a position where they trade for Tyler, they trade away Tyler, and they trade. I'll get to Nas Reed in a second. If they trade away Tyler and they trade away somebody like a Duncan or a Kyle Lowry, that contracts put together, I don't know exactly how much. Let me look at something real fast because I don't know. Uh, I don't know how much Kristaps. I don't know how much Bradley Beal is exact. I know it's upwards of above 50 million. Like it's gonna kill you, but I don't know by exactly how much. Okay, Bradley Beal, uh, 40. He's owed 43 million next season, and on the Heat side, oh no. That's not what I'm looking for. This is only showing. Uh, Kyle is owed right now. I'm looking at it. Bradley Beal is owed upward of probably about 40 to 50 million next season. Um, does anybody know the exact number? Uh, the best case scenario for Miami. Best case scenario. Best case scenario. Kristaps and Bradley Beal or Damian Lillard. That's the best case scenario for them. And that's absolutely they're able to pull off absolute magic to be able to pull off either both Kristaps or KP or Damian Lillard himself because Dame's already let it be known. I already in my mind I already gave up on Dame because he's already going to like of the workouts for the draft prospects for Portland. He's already been saying more times than enough that he's made it kind of look like he wants to stay in Portland, and there's been news coming out that Portland's moving on this into this offseason with the thought that they're probably going to come back next year and try to compete with Dame on the roster. As stupid as it may sound, it is what it is. Okay, he's owed 46 million next season. That's not bad. And I think Tyler's contract kicks in, and I think that trade kicker or that poison pill in his contract is gone after the 1st of July, I think. So don't look for the trade to be happening probably anytime soon. And I don't think Washington's gonna look to trade him anytime soon, really. I do think they're gonna take their time with this and gonna evaluate all of their offers. Because right now his trade value probably isn't anything insane, but it's also not anything low either. Okay, Tyler's owed 27 million next season. Okay. So the way I see it right now, if it's just Bradley Beal and you trade Tyler and Kyle Lowry in that trade right now, Miami goes under the cap a little bit, and I think they missed the new tax apron by like 4 million, which they're able to use their MLE, their mid-level exception, and they can look to use that on a guy like Nas Reed, look to use that on a guy like maybe Jonas Valanciunas, depending on the offers he gets. But right now I really don't care about the money aspect of it as long as because right now if we're trading for both KP and Bradley Beal, that starting lineup most likely after we pay Gabe is Gabe Vincent, Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Kristaps Porzingis. Coming off the bench after that, the only guy that has a solidified spot coming off that bench is Caleb. Because most likely Jovic, Kyle is gone. Shit, maybe even Duncan. So you definitely see guys like Haywood Highsmith probably move up in the rotation. And then it's gonna be probably in the minimum vet market looking for guys to fill those other roles. And obviously Miami has shown more times than enough that they have been able to find guys that can play in those scenarios and actually be productive. But we've been doing that every single year. But right now, I think the best case scenario for Miami would be KP and Bradley Beal, not Dame. if Dame is the best case scenario, if we're only getting one player this offseason, if we're getting two, is definitely KP and Bradley Beal. But the most likely what's gonna happen is you trade Tyler and you get Bradley Beal back, and then this season, since you're probably under the tax apron, you're able to probably use your MLE and get another guy, maybe a backup five or a five that can stretch the floor like Jonas Valanciunas, or you get a four that has some size and Bam still plays the five next year, which sucks, but whatever. In like Naz Reid. Again, the positions don't really matter to me for Bam in a sense, like whatever you call him. I just want him to be able to play a point forward type of role. He already brings the ball up and initiates the offense, but I want him to be able to be in a position where you have somebody on the team that can guard a Brook Lopez, that can guard a Robert Williams or Al Horford. So now you have Bam that's able to go and guard a Jason Tatum. Bam that can now go and guard a Tobias Harrison Rome on what's the hell is his name? Joel Embiid. I forgot his damn if you ever play Denver again, and if you ever meet Denver again in the NBA Finals, because it looked like they're really the team that has it in the West again, you don't have that. You can have Bam as a roamer on Nikola Jokic instead of having to be the one to guard him one-on-one all the damn time. And he can be switching all over the perimeter and causing havoc that way, the same way Jimmy already does in the passive lanes. Right now, I think you see the best defensive season from Bam since he's had one. He's easily first team all defense and most likely top two defensive player of the year if he's able to play that fourth spot and be able to roam off ball. That's the best case scenario for me to Miami. Just finding a guy that's able to move back to the four, have some verticality, and finding another top scorer. But it would also help if that guy that at the five that can stretch the floor can also, score on his own a little bit too, and take some pressures off. Obviously, Jimmy's coasted in regular season a couple years, and that's not helped him avoid injury in the playoffs. Obviously, last year, but then again, his injuries have been completely, not out the blue, but completely they haven't been his fault. They've been complete accidents. Like last year, Peyton Pritchard grabbing his freaking knee, that's not his fault. Josh Hart flopping and kicking his ankle out, that's not his damn fault. I've seen some people talk about maybe wanting to keep Tyler. I don't think that's the best place to go right now anymore with Tyler, in the sense that I love Tyler. I really do. But the injury concerns are getting a little bit up there. And yes, he is young and he can grow. But right now, I'm just looking at these playoffs so far, and it's not his fault at all. I'm not blaming him. I love Tyler. And if we had him, we most likely would have a way. I'm not saying we'd have beat Denver. We'd have a way better chance of beating Denver if we had him in the lineup. That was him and Bam series. That two-man action with him and Bam would have been almost being able to mirror Jokic and Jamal Murray in that sense. Tyler is the guy with the best feel in the pick and roll with Bam. Obviously, Bradley Beal comes here. He's a very low error turnover guy, a guy that can definitely play make. That's the problem here. Since then, since the bubble, everybody played bad against the Bucks, not holding that against them. But Atlanta, he played okay at best. Let me look at the numbers for the playoff series. Atlanta, never mind, not even close to okay at best. 13 points per game on 39% shooting and 18% from three. Philadelphia that year, 14 points per game, 4.7 rebounds and 2.7 assists on 44% from the field, 37% from three. And of course, he was injured against Boston. And he got injured the first game against Milwaukee this year. Again, he's a growing player. I'm not gonna hold it against him that he's had these bad series in a sense. But at the same time, you got to look at him and just look at what's out there in the market in Bradley Beal, guys that have been proven, a situation that's being able to affect the game and actually, be a top scorer in the league and provide some of the same levels of playmaking while also still, while Bradley Beal isn't the greatest defender, Tyler isn't also, so it's not really providing too much problem. It's more of an upside in that sense. The only thing that scares me about Bradley Beal is his injury history. But if anyone else to come up and talk and tell me, what they think is best moves for Miami to make or what it is, I'm gonna put the StreamYard link in the chat. Y'all can click it and pop up. I'll pull you in, whatever you gotta say. But right now, those are my thoughts on this team specifically and what they can do this offseason. Um, I do think the best move for them is to go get a KP and Bradley Beal if they can do it, or a Dame singularly if they can. But if it's only Bradley Beal, then you look to move both Tyler and Kyle to try to get those contracts off the books for you. And then you try to use your middle exception to get a big that could move Bam to the four, and you try to move off that way. But at the end of the day, I trust that Miami realizes that they need to make some changes this offseason. We ran it back last year because there wasn't what um Tyler didn't have a good postseason, so most likely his trade value wasn't that high. Kyle had a horrible year with all the injuries, so his trade value wasn't that high. That was the fall of Duncan, so his trade value wasn't that high. Of course, all our players in all our undrafted players in Caleb, Gabe, Struce didn't play too well in the playoffs that year either. So yeah, this season, this what a great thing that this finals run did do for this team is the fact that it revitalized Duncan's trade value extremely high. Kyle's trade value being an expiring contract too puts it pretty high too. Tyler's trade value didn't get any higher in a sense, but he's still our best trade bait. It's been good. It's been good. Caleb's trade value has been high, especially on the contract that he's on. Um, Overall, I love what this postseason run did for these players' reputation because at least it makes it easier now for Miami to probably find a guy that's be able to put them over the edge. Um, but that's my really overall take of seeing what so far has been happening. On to some other teams right now. Um, I see Philly in the Bradley Beal sweepstakes. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. Again, my whole gripe with Bradley Beal anymore now is the injury history. You put that next to Joel Embiid, especially if James Harden walks. Horrible decision. You're tying your team down to a guy. Doesn't his no trade clause even move over to Philly too? So they can't trade him now either. Yeah, they're fucked. They're screwed. Like there's no reason for them to even think of getting into the sweepstakes. For Boston, in a sense, they can't get him unless they move Jalen Brown. Like there's nothing on their roster they can move. They don't have the draft picks to do it. You can put together Payton Pritchard, Marcus Smart, Grant Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, all you want. Those aren't players or young players that I think Washington even wants. They're looking to rebuild here, so I don't think that for them that's even close to a good idea. Bradley Beal's a great player, but honest though, we should trade him because of contract length and new CBA rules is coming. So I think he meant shouldn't. Uh, we shouldn't trade for him. I understand. I understand that feeling in the sense that we probably shouldn't trade for him because of the new CBA and how it may affect us in that sense. But it won't. I see you. I'll pull you up in a second. But let me finish this. I don't think it won't affect us in the sense that right now if we're trading both Tyler and Kyle, that gets rid of about I would say closer to 50 mil off our books and brings in Bradley Beal and probably something like DeLon Wright. It will keep us under the second tax apron, which would still allow us to use our mid-level exception. Um, but it'd have to be those two. It'd be Kyle and Tyler. It can't be Duncan because Duncan's only making 18 mil next year, I think, or something like that. I don't know if it's from. I know Bradley Beal's contract is definitely backloaded, so the next coming years after that is definitely going to be high and it's definitely screw us. But next season in itself, I don't think it's going to screw us. And I think right now, what we're trying to do is for at least next season, the next 2 seasons, maximize our best chance to win a championship. Because obviously Jimmy's 34 or 33, one of the two. I can't remember his age. So our window to win with Jimmy is dwindling, not even slowly, very fast at this point. And I think they're trying to maximize that to the best level. And right now, caring about the new CBA and what that may do, especially if you can get a guy of Bradley Beal's caliber, is not the best. Is not the best thing to do. You're not going to get anything in this market with being scary. You have to make the moves if you want to win. And at least with this team, I know Pat Riley's not scared to make moves and he's not willing to make dumb ones. But anyway, DJ, can you hear
Hey, what's
me?
up? You can hear me?
Yes, sir. What do you got to say?
So, I was thinking about like I can curse, right? Is it fine?
You can do what you want.
All right, all right.
Yeah, you can do what you want,
So
bro.
like, I was thinking about like the Heat shit that you was talking about, like like potential deals that you guys can do, but you guys have to get off of Duncan and Kyle Lowry first. Like you guys have to.
We don't have
And
to
I
get
was
off of
thinking
Duncan,
about
but we
with
have to get
Duncan.
off of Kyle. We have to get off Kyle. We definitely have to get off Kyle, but not Duncan. Duncan, I think Duncan next. I don't know if is Duncan's contract backloaded or front loaded. I think it's backloaded in a sense that
I
he
think
makes
it's
the most money
backloaded.
in the later years of it.
But yeah, like Duncan's defense though, it's like really all. It's really bad. It's really bad.
It has in this postseason specifically. It wasn't Duncan's defense specifically wasn't a problem at all. That's the thing that pissed me off when people were talking about bringing back Tyler. In a sense that people were talking about how him not having him on defense was helping us. That's not how that shit works. When you have right now, if Tyler came back, he would be taking the majority of those minutes from somebody like Max or Duncan, and we're surviving perfectly fine with those guys. Miami's a very team oriented defensive team. Um, you can attack Tyler and Duncan all you want. You're gonna still have to meet Bam at the rim back there. And most of the time when you play those guys, you're playing zone. And Tyler, Duncan, Max Strus are the guys that are very smart in playing zone themselves. So the defense really hasn't been a problem specifically for them. Mostly, it's just the offensive production that we missed with Tyler that really killed us.
I mean,
No,
from
no,
what
no, no.
I've
Yeah,
seen,
Duncan
from what
is
I've seen
making
with
around the same thing for every year. 18, 19
yeah,
mil.
but from what I've seen with Duncan, the way Bruce Brown was cooking his ass, I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
Oh yeah, in that last game, yeah, I'll give you that.
You guys lost the whole game because of Duncan's defense. He looked
Not
like
really. We did
Jordan
not lose
Poole
that
out
game because
there.
of Duncan.
He looked
We
like
didn't lose
Jordan
that
Poole
game.
out there.
If anything, we were in that game because of Duncan because he had some clutch ass shots to keep us in that game. We didn't lose that game because of Duncan's defense. We lost that game because we literally our offense with him off the floor sometimes looked dead. Like the movement, the gravity he provides is next to. Say what you want about Duncan about his shooting the past couple seasons. That man is feared by every single team, and he's pulling 2 to 3 defenders every single time he dives to the rim. Every single time he comes off DO action with Bam, and he opens up the offense for everybody else. And over the years, he's gotten a lot better at cutting back door, being able to hit Bam on the pick and roll when 2 guys come to him. He's been able to fit well in this offense. If the right deal comes along and moving off his contract, I don't mind it. But he's not a guy that on this team that I'm too scared to play or I think is going to be an issue for this team. Spo's been showing more than enough times that he's able to hide these guys on defense if they have to. And plus,
I,
not gonna lie to you, Bradley Beal's defense ain't that much better.
yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I think you guys have to trade Duncan because if you get Damian Lillard or you get Bradley Beal, your defense is going to be like Jimmy and Bam. Their backs are going to be hurting.
I mean,
That
most
defense
likely,
is going to be in the garbage when they have minutes together.
problem here is if we get Bradley Beal, just Bradley Beal, most likely what's gonna happen is you're moving off Kyle and Tyler if you keep Duncan. And Miami under the new CBA will be under the second or I think maybe still under the first tax apron. So they can still use their mid-level exception. That's around 10-12 million dollars a year to be able to find somebody in the open market. That'd be a Jonas Valanciunas. If Milwaukee doesn't want to pay too much money for him right now, since they are having trouble wondering where they should go from here on out, maybe a Brook Lopez, guys that can protect the rim back there and allow Bam to be a roamer, and our defense is fine after that. Um, Especially if we get somebody like Dame, you're not really. The thing about it is that there's not too many teams in the East that can match up Miami that well. Boston wasn't able to do it because Jason Tatum
Yeah,
has no
true.
mid-range game.
That's true.
Obviously Jalen Brown can't dribble the ball, so he can't match up on either. And if you go to Philadelphia with James Harden gone, who's gonna match up on Tyrese Maxey? Like, let's be real here. So there's the thing about it playing in the East is that there's not too many teams that can match up against Miami to get like matchup that they truly want and really hurt us. The problem that comes with is when you play teams against in the West. See if we play a Denver, LA, or if Phoenix is able to get their shit together, maybe even them. Those are the teams that could really hurt us if because those teams have guys that can match up on like a LeBron that will methodically every single possession call for a pick and roll, get Damian Lillard on me, go in the post, and I'm picking you apart that way. Um, a Jamal Murray that can back down most guards, Nikola Jokic that can do the same thing. Those guys, but in the East, you don't really have too many of those guys that are really good at doing that or good enough decision makers with their back against to the basket and picking apart teams like that. Joel Embiid can't can't pass out like that, especially if you don't double team him too heavily. Again, Jason Tatum doesn't have a back to the basket game like that to be able to pick apart teams that way. And those are really Milwaukee. We already see what Bam's able to do to Giannis, especially with his back to the basket. You don't really need to even send doubles that way. So it's those situations like in the East right now. I'm not too worried about our defense against those teams. It's the West that's really pissing me off sometimes. But what I like about it is the fact that out of every single team that played Denver, we played the best defense against them. We forced them the most mistakes. The only problem why we weren't really able to take a couple of those games because our offense was that freaking bad.
You could say the same thing for Denver. They couldn't hit wide open threes.
We can hit wide open threes. If both
I mean,
I'm saying this right
I
now.
would say yeah,
we
both
would
had a
lost
game.
that
Yeah, both had a
if both
game,
teams are playing up to the level.
No, go ahead.
I'm saying if both teams are playing at their peak, we would have still lost. Either way, if Denver was playing at their peak and we're playing at our peak, we're still losing that series.
Yeah.
The thing about Miami is not even the fact that Denver wasn't missing open threes. Is the simple fact that throughout the first couple games of that series, Miami was flying around to the point where Denver wasn't even getting an open three. MPJ, say what you want about him missing open shots, but that man couldn't get an open shot for his life. And after a while, once you have a couple guys in your face every single game for the rest of that series, you're not going to be really in that much of a rhythm to really get off. Again, MPJ went 4 for 27 from three in that series. KCP didn't shoot that well either. The only guys that were able to really shoot well from three is Jamal Murray. That's obviously one of the best one-on-one scorers in the game. Nikola Jokic, that was getting wide open threes off pick and rolls. Or Bruce Brown, that again was the guy we were leaving open to shoot from three, but he was just hitting them. But the guys that were valuable three-point shooter for them, we were very much getting out on them, getting a hand up and bothering their shot. So it's not really that in that sense in that series. It's just overall we just didn't have the bodies to really bother Nikola Jokic, and that two-man game was killing us, and our offense just didn't come to play. And Jimmy's ankle was killing him, so he didn't play up to the standard that you had for him in the first two series in the playoffs.
The thing is, though, I know you said that not many teams can really match up hunt you in the East, but like, I understand that's not your worry right now. But if you run into teams like the Lakers and Denver, you know those teams are on the other side, so you have to build your team to be capable of like slowing them down defensively.
We
In
are
my
able to slow
opinion,
them down.
if you
though.
run lineups with Duncan and Damian Lillard or Duncan and a Bradley Beal, like I don't understand like how your defense will be fine when Bradley Beal is terrible defensively as well.
Okay, but would you say this was Miami able to at least slow down Denver?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, okay. They were able to slow them down a little bit, but I feel like it had more so to do with the issue with their spot up shooting being like bad.
But I'm saying if Miami was able to slow down Denver that way, instead of getting out on spot up shooters with Duncan, Max Strus on the court, and MPJ shooting over Gabe Vincent and can't even make a shot, what's to say that Damian Lillard and Duncan, even then, Bradley Beal and Duncan, I don't think Duncan's going to be, especially in closing moments in those series, I don't think they're going to be on the court at the same time. The only reason Duncan was in the game in those late moments, we needed some semblance of offense because we couldn't have it.
Yeah,
you have a guy like Bradley Beal or Damian Lillard on the court, Duncan's not 4 minutes.
My thing is, would you
throughout the game? Yeah, say what you're saying.
Oh, I was gonna say, my thing is, would you rather your team pursue somebody like Gary Harris? Because like I think like he would be a good fit on your team because he's on the Magic. I think he has 1 year. I know that the Magic needs shooting, so like to get a guy like that would help. I don't know if the Magic would want him, but like Duncan has proven that he's still the same guy he was before when it comes to the 3-point shooting.
Yeah. Right now, Gary, let me look what his contract's like right now. He's a guy that after Denver traded him, he's just had a horrible injury luck, and he's never been able to really get in a place that really respected him and give him the same opportunity that Denver did as a scorer. Because people forget that at one point in his career, the man was an 18 point per game scorer and 40% from three. He was 43% this year, but still a relatively really good player in the league. It's just Orlando is looking to rebuild, and he's not going to get those type of touches. $13 million next season. We'd have to get 2 players back from Orlando to really match that because Duncan's making more than him. I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it at all. Right now,
Yeah.
where is it? I saw something that I really wanted to address real fast. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I'm surprised I haven't seen anyone talk about Nurkic, Hero, Duncan, Depot, or enough salaries for Dame and Nurk. I don't want Nurkic on this team.
Yeah, Nurkic is garbage. Nurkic is garbage.
I'm not gonna lie. It's not even that he's just cooked. What he provides is nothing that Miami needs. He's right now. Miami doesn't need any more unathletic bigs that can't protect the rim. We can't.
Yeah.
We really
Why
don't
would
need it.
you?
And
Why would any team want that though? Wouldn't you rather
um,
lean more into the defensive side of the ball? Like Nurkic doesn't really
more
do
more of
anything for you
Nurkic.
but rebound.
Nurkic is the thing about Nurkic is he's a great screener. He can stretch the floor and he's a great passer at the post too. So some teams may want that depending on how their offense works. But for Miami, we already have Bam. That's one of the best playmaking bigs in the game right now. We really don't need Nurkic, and I don't want Nurkic. Um, Depot. I don't know how many teams will even. If Portland's going into a full rebuild, they're not going to trade for Depot. If Portland's
Yeah,
going
who
to
wants
trade,
Depot? Not gonna lie, who wants Depot? Nobody wants that.
yeah, his
I'm not even
injury
trying to be
history is going to kill him.
disrespectful to him, but like he's
Yeah,
been
his
getting
it's
injured.
his injury history.
Yeah.
Miles Turner. Yeah, I saw your
Pacers ain't giving him up. Pacers ain't giving him up. I don't see it happening. I'm not gonna lie to you because they've been trying to trade him for years, and like nobody's been willing to like give them what they want, and they extended his contract. So like, yeah, he's definitely not getting. I don't see him like going to Miami.
who Dame. Dame's made it
No,
almost
Miles
perfect.
Turner. No, Miles Turner. No,
Oh,
Miles
Miles
Turner.
Turner.
No, Miles Turner.
Miles
Yeah.
Turner. Indiana. I don't know what Indiana's thinking right now. I think he had his best career. I think he averaged 18 this year.
Yeah.
I think he had his best career year this season, and he played really well. But again, you have to look at that as not even him getting better, but just a product of playing with one of the best playmaking guards in the league.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
he averaged 18 again. He's a stretch five that can protect the rim, which obviously that's great. But if you look at some of his I don't even think his rim deterrence numbers are even that great. And again, he was a lot more efficient this year. But obviously, again, you're playing one of the best playmaking ones in the game right now. Coming to Miami, you're not going to see those same numbers. And being 7 freaking 1 or 7, oh, he's listed at 6'11". Being that tall and only having 7.5 rebounds, the amount of minutes you play and playing outside that much pisses me off so much. And the only reason I'd even want Kristaps instead of him, because Kristaps has the same problem with being that freaking tall but doesn't want a damn rebound, is the fact that Kristaps one is a way better shooter and a way better scorer. And I think Kristaps brings a little bit more in the rim protecting side that I want than Miles Turner.
Yeah. I also need wing depth. Yeah. I also need wing depth. That's an issue as well.
Yeah, if we get any of those guys, most likely the only wing we have coming off the bench would be Caleb. And Haywood, which isn't ideal. But again, if you're gonna go to get guys like a Dame or Beal and Kristaps, not gonna have the salary or anything to really go after to get any real wings. You're gonna the rest of the roster is gonna be vet minimums. Right now, it'd be re-signing Gabe. It'd be Bradley Beal at the 2, Jimmy at the 3, Bam at the 4. Anybody you can get at the 5. If it's Kristaps, Jonas Valanciunas, or whatever it is, and then the bench, it'll look like Caleb, Haywood, Highsmith, and then
Oh
maybe
God,
Kevin Love if you
Haywood Highsmith.
Kevin
Oh
huh
God, Haywood
Kevin
Highsmith.
Love
Oh God.
Kevin Love if you bring him back, and then however else you can fill out the roster with vet minimums, but that's really how it's going to look. You're going to have to really rely on but again, in the playoffs, you only go 8 deep, so you can take that with a grain of salt if you want to. Well, Spo doesn't mind going even deeper than that sometimes, but that's because this team just needed any form of offense it can even get. I don't think Duncan has very much value. He doesn't have too much value because of his contracting. Yes. My view of Duncan right now is the fact that his contract and where he played, he can be substantial salary filler. You're not going to get a solo trade for just Duncan for somebody else that's going to be that great. You're not going to get that. But he's great salary filler next to a guy like Tyler. that can at least give another team a little bit more value for something else that they may want from the Heat.
It's
Nas
kind of
Reed Christian.
crazy. It's kind of
Okay,
crazy
okay.
that
First
Pat
things
Riley,
first,
like
get
I was saying,
Vucevic
it's
out
kind
of.
of crazy that Pat Riley puts you guys in this situation. Like, if you guys just didn't pay Kyle Lowry, which was obviously something that you guys shouldn't have done, you guys would be fine right now. If you guys didn't
You sure?
overpay Duncan so much, yeah, Kyle Lowry's
Overpaying
what,
Dunk.
making like $30 million.
Yeah, paying Kyle that much money, it was a bad idea. But also, Kyle was an integral part of the reason why we made it to the conference finals last year. He was injured, and he's also an integral part of why we even made it to the finals this year. In the sense, he
Who else is
filled the
giving
role
him
that he
that
was
though?
supposed to. Hmm.
Who else is giving him that though?
For that type of the Lakers are definitely going to give him that much money if we didn't pay
$30
him.
million?
That's the money he was asking for, and he just decided here instead of LA.
Oh, hell no.
At the time, yeah, he was commanding that type of money. Um, Nas Reed, Christian Wood. Get Nikola Vucevic out of here. Christian Wood, I don't know why, but there's multiple times where Miami was tied to him, and he just doesn't seem like he wants to come here for some reason. So whatever on him, especially if the attitude problems he had in Dallas is the same one he's gonna bring here, probably don't want him here. Nas Reed is definitely a guy that I would love to see on here, but I think he's gonna command a little bit too much money this summer for us to even be looking at him. Yeah, he's gonna opt into that. Yeah, Depot is definitely gonna opt into his money. It's not. Yes, I would want Beal over Hero. I want Beal over Hero. Largest reason why, while Beal has been injury prone, Tyler. We can talk about how Tyler could have helped us in so many situations in the postseason. He hasn't been there, and the times he has been there, he hasn't had a good series since the bubble. I love Tyler, and I do believe in him, and I do think he can get better. And I do think he would have very much helped us and been a large part of the reasons why we probably would have had a lot better chance of beating Denver if he was here. But at the end of the day, he wasn't. And we're looking to upgrade here. And Bradley Beal currently is a better player than Tyler Hero.
Yeah, it's not even close. Like, personally,
It's
from
close.
watching
It's
Wizards games
close,
the
but it's
past few
not bad.
years, like personally from watching the Wizards the past few years, like if you look at Bradley Beal this year in comparison to the past 2 years, you can tell he's not putting too much effort into the game right now. Like he's shooting significantly less from what I'm seeing. He's like super passive
Oh
now.
my god, I remember a couple of times on Prize Picks I picked the over on that man. It pissed me off because he only takes like 12 shots. I'm like, what are you doing?
Like he's not shooting. Like I'm seeing like a ton of games where he's taking less shots than Kuzma. Like he's not really like trying
I mean,
anymore, and
that's
that's
also
because
because
they suck.
Kuz is a shot chucker.
Yeah, that's true, but they genuinely suck though. Why try when we suck?
Yeah, too many teams is ready to pay Duncan. I don't think too many teams. I mean, we could have paid Duncan the most money, which is why he stayed. I don't think too many teams are going to willing to pay him the 90 million we paid him. And at the end of the day, Kyle's contract is expiring next season, which is on with how well he played in these playoffs. That's what makes his contract valuable going to these playoffs. At the end of the day, it may seem rough that we paid those guys, but we made it far in the playoffs because of the contributions they were able to give. And right now, they're probably going to be integral parts of why we get better to probably get over the hump and actually win one again. So at the end of the day, the money doesn't really matter too much. I don't really see a way. I don't. If we didn't pay Duncan, I don't see a way we would have picked up anybody else that would have helped us get any better to make it any further. And at the end of the day, last year when we lost to Boston, yeah, we lost that game 7, but part of the reason why is because Peyton Pritchard nearly pulled Jimmy's ankle apart, his knee apart. And this year, Jimmy wasn't again another injury problem with Jimmy. Tyler wasn't there at all. I'm just tired of the what ifs with this team. Go all in find any single way to get better and actually go after it this year. Because right now, with the way it looks, Boston said their main priority right now is re-signing Jaylen Brown. So wallahi for them. Uh, but they're not. I'm not worried about Boston. I'm really not. I'm sorry. And
Yeah,
Philly,
Oladipo
I'm
was
even.
cooking last year. Holy shit, I
Huh?
didn't know that. Oladipo was cooking. He was cooking last year for you guys in the playoffs. I didn't realize how good he was.
Oh no, yeah, no. That missing him and Tyler hurt so much. People don't realize how much it hurt missing either one of them, especially especially if we had him in that series against Denver, he'd be the one guarding Jamal Murray. So Jimmy would be able to play off ball a lot more and play in the passing lanes. Again, a large part of the reason why we even made it to a game 7 against the Celtics last year is because of how much he was locking up Jaylen Brown. Very much true. That offseason, if we didn't pay Duncan, somebody else was going to pay him that type of money. But I think the league itself and Pat Riley and this team learned, don't overpay specialists. Don't overpay guys that are primary shooters, just shooters. Don't put guys that are just primary rim protectors. Don't do that. You can find a lot of those guys on any single market. You can find a lot of those guys on the market anytime you want to. You see teams make mistake when playing guys like Bismack Biyombo, 72 mil, and he's just a rim protector. You see us make the mistake of paying Duncan. Yeah. Bismack got a 4 or 5 year, 72 million. I think, I don't know if it was Orlando. Somebody gave him. I can't remember if it was Orlando or somebody. But yeah, again, but I think everybody learned, just don't overpay specialists anymore.
Oh my God, that's a scam. What?
I mean, Harrison Barnes got the same money. Tobias Harris got that type of money too. It is what it is sometimes. There's a sucker out there willing to pay somebody. What do you think about the Beal to the Bucks? The Bucks don't have anything to trade for Beal that Washington would want. Unless they're willing to trade Marjan Beauchamp, which I don't think they are. And even then, he hasn't. I think Miami still has a better trade package than they do. Washington does not want older players. They want young guys. They want picks. The Bucks don't have either of those.
Does the trade package really matter that much? Because Beal got a no trade clause.
Exactly. I almost forgot about that too. For what the Bucks are gonna have to give up to get Bradley Beal, who knows if Bradley even wants to be in Milwaukee? Hell, who knows if Bradley Beal even wants to be in a city like a Boston or a Milwaukee? Maybe he likes Miami as a city itself too. I think they learned. Hopefully, they show. Yeah, they're not paying Strus.
Strus is garbage though. Strus is garbage.
Yeah, the reason why we even paid Duncan that type of money is because Duncan was still on a heater against the Lakers. Like he was he was still hitting crazy shots against the freaking Lakers. Strus hasn't hit shit since the playing game against the Bulls.
Like Duncan was looking like Reggie Miller. Like you can't compare that to Strus. Strus like can't shoot.
Yeah. It pissed me off so much in those couple of games because he had one good game and then going 0 for 8, I think, 0 for 7 in the first game. Just overall awful throughout the entire series. I think he also, if there's a team that's going to give him any money, it's not going to be anything over maybe in 10, 15 mil a year, which I still think is an overpay. And I think teams have slowly started to learn that you don't pay guys that come from Miami because the moment they leave Miami, they don't play the same way. It's not surprising what Duncan got, 44%, 40. Yeah, that's exactly why he got that money. Duncan, for those 2 seasons, was showing to be a generational type shooter because it wasn't even just 44 to 42%. It was 44 to 40% on some crazy volume. And the level of shots he was hitting. I'm talking about coming off, fading away off DHO actions with Bam, guys flying at him. You have guys on pick and rolls flooding 2 at him and leaving Jimmy open or wide open lane to the rim. That type of shit. That's the reason why he got his money. Who would you want more, Beal or Dame? Obviously Dame. I'm not gonna lie. I see a lot of people disrespecting Dame, and it's kind of sad. The man just had the best year of his career. 32 on 64% true shooting. If there's somebody I'm paying, it's Dame. I wouldn't mind giving up a lot for Dame. Yes, they do. It's in your contract. It's gonna stay that way. So if he comes here, he's gonna have the same no trade clause. But we're not looking to trade him if he comes here. So It doesn't solve Miami's main problem. Yes, we're too small. That's the main issue here. But the problem here is if we trade for Dame or we trade for Beal or we trade for Dame, that still allows us to use our mid-level exception to probably get a little bit bigger. We can re-sign guys like Kevin Love. There's guys on the market out there like a Nasri, like a Jonas Valanciunas, like a Brook Lopez that we can use that on to get that size. The size isn't the problem anymore. Miami has a ways to get bigger so that we can contend with some of the bigger teams in the league. That's not the problem for us at all.
Who are the
Right
guys that
now
you
is
would want though? Who are the guys?
top of my list, Brook Lopez, top of my list at the 5 spot. Then it trickles down to Nas Reed at the 4, and then keep Bam at the 5. Oh well. Then it's a Jonas Valanciunas, somebody that has some vertical at the rim, can rebound and shoot the 3. And from then on down, it's not really much after that. But those are the 3 guys that I'm looking towards that would be probably the best fit for Miami as a big to help us get bigger in that sense. And with him not playing last year, I do think we probably also do re-sign Yurtsevin, and he gets some decent minutes next season as a backup 5. Trust me. I think because of the finals, I think we're just a little bit too hard on Cody. He's guarding Nikola Jokic. He's a player we got on the buy that's guarding Nikola Jokic. I don't know what people expected. I don't think people expect him to do much better job than he already did. He got cooked. He was supposed to get cooked. It's Nikola Jokic for all we care. But against the Knicks, there's a reason why we won that series. He was a plus 34 for that entire series when he was on the court. He did his job for what we got him for. He gave us the production we needed. I can't get too mad at him when when he's getting attacked on the drop with Jason Tatum coming at him. It's expected for a buyout guy to not be that great when that's happening to you. I'm liking Beal just because we can keep Gabe as the point guard with Beal at the shooting guard versus getting Dame. We have to let Gabe leave a Kyle as the backup point guard, but 100% Dame is by far the better player. 1,000%. Either way, there's 2 guys that I would love for us to resign, and that is both Gabe and Yurtsevin. Because again, I think Yurtsevin deserves some at least time at the backup spot. Because I just still think to 2022 when he was starting at the 5 for those 15 or so games when Bam was out, and he was just a double machine, and he was able to protect the rim at least a little bit. And then after the injury, he didn't get much burn this season, so I still would like to see him get another chance at least, because I don't think there's a lot more options out there on the bottom. Actually, never mind. If we can get somebody like DeMarcus Cousins, yeah, fuck that. Get him. Don't care about Jovic anymore. I mean Yurtsevin anymore. We're not getting Vanderbilt from LA. They want to keep him very bad. And Mo Bamba, the problem with Mo Bamba for me is his motor, in the sense that he's not the thought of Mo Bamba, a 5 that can stretch the floor, that can rebound and block some shots, sounds really good. And then you watch him play and you realize why he wasn't getting minutes in Orlando, and they were able to toss him to LA for Patrick Beverly. There's reasons why people move players like Mo Bamba. That motor is awful. Sometimes his effort level isn't there. The IQ isn't even there. He looks lost sometimes. And especially for a team like Miami that loves to play zone and requires you to have a high IQ to be able to play in the defensive system sometimes, Mo Bamba really isn't the guy that's probably the best to have here. I'm damn to bring Gabe back. He wasn't too great against Boston either, but he was definitely good against both Milwaukee and against New York. I can't get mad at him when he's getting attacked on pick and roll by Jason Tatum or getting disturbed by Nikola Jokic. I really can't, but obviously I don't want him. I don't want us to bring him back. No more. Look, I love what. No more G League guys, please. No more of those guys. I'm tired. I get it. We've been able to really bring guys out of the G League and undrafted guys and really mold them into players that can be rotation players. But I'm tired of it. No more. No more. Guys like Boogie and Dwight don't get contract offers for anyone in the league. It's time to accept that they're spent. Uh, I don't. Reason for Boogie is most likely him buying on the defensive end, and from what I've seen from Boogie offensively, he's always been able to produce. The defense was always the problem for him. But DJ,
Yeah, what's up?
thank you for coming up. I'm gonna put the link again, see if anybody else wants to come up in here, see what they gotta say.
All right, I appreciate it.
No problem. Dropping the link again in chat if everybody wants to pop up. Anybody got something they want to say? Damn, it was a Wednesday. I didn't think I was gonna get this many people. I thought it was gonna be a nice 30-minute, maybe 4 or 5 people in here for the entire stream. I didn't know I was gonna get 90. I didn't. We had a max of 15 in here. Good shit. Thank y'all. Yeah, okay. If we're gonna go big game hunting for stars, we need those guys like Kane and Orlando. Not necessarily. If we're gonna be big star hunting, we already have guys that can come off. Depends on the stars. If it's Dame, then yes, we're gonna have to give up a lot. So most likely, our bench is still gonna look like Highsmith, Caleb, Kevin Love, and maybe Yurtseven, which is fine by me. But and in the playoffs, mostly goes 9 deep. So I don't really mind who else we get then, but I'd rather some vets in there, some guys that's been in the league for a couple of years on vet minimums, other than G League guys that are gonna see time in the G League and then time in the regular season, stuff like that. Dan, what's up, my boy?
Yo, FLB, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh boy, I was that was emotional, man. I had to calm down for a couple of days, innit?
I mean, I'm not really. The moment the game was over, I'm like, damn. And then I just shifted. I'm like, yeah, it was expected at this point. At some point, the luck gotta run out.
But like, we just ended up playing stupid basketball. It was just like all playoffs long, we've been driving to the paint and getting to the free throw line. Now, all of a sudden against Denver, it's like you lot are scared and you lot want to be a jump shot team. Why?
It's not that we were scared. It's the fact that Jimmy's ankle was bent, so he didn't have that much rim pressure. And yeah, guy, I don't think you've noticed, but the amount of times Nikola Jokic was stripping every single person that went to the rim against him is crazy.
Oh yeah,
people need to stop with this narrative that the people thinking that Nikola Jokic is a bad defender is the problem here. He's not a bad defender. The guy knows how to use his size. He has amazing hands. And the scheme and the drop that they use against Denver, there's a reason why it works so well. He is not he's above average defender, but he's not a horrible one. So attacking him in the pick and roll and going to the paint is way easier said than done against them. Like he does a very good job cutting off driving lanes and filling gaps really, really easily.
Yeah. To be fair though, there were a couple plays where we were just driving past him in the paint. But I do hear what you're saying, because he was stripping. Yeah, he was stripping a lot of people, and I was like, how is he just smacking the ball like?
Oh no, a couple of them were fouls. A couple of them were fouls, but
a couple of them were. But a lot of them were just very just good steals, innit? But
if only made the push like Donovan last summer.
But yeah, if this finals wasn't a serious slap in the face to say to Pat Riley to say you need a proper center, because Bam can't be your center. Bam
can be your center, but he's just not the best place for him. It's not the best place to maximize his skill set.
It isn't, because he's a 4 and he plays like a 4. But to have him at center, he's lost, because you can see him pretty much on every play. He wants to go and guard the perimeter, but then that leaves the paint open for literally anybody to just switch onto a smaller guy, and then like Aaron Gordon was, and then easily use your size and get an easy basket.
The thing with Bam is that the place I want him to be at is the 4, because I want him to be able to guard guys like LeBron, like Jason Tatum,
Exactly.
Like be able to roam off guys like Aaron Gordon, be able to
Yep.
double Jokic, playoff
Mm-hmm.
guys, and be able to double Joel Embiid instead of guarding him straight up. I want to be able to do those things, and his offensive game screams for above average to pretty good pull up 15-footer. He's way better at attacking the rim going downhill than he is with his back to the basket. With the amount of bunnies he freaking missed this, we saw it.
Oh, good.
He already brings the ball up.
And he had,
He already brings the ball up the floor. He brings the ball up the floor, initiates the offense, runs the pick and roll
yeah.
himself, and he runs the
Mm-hmm.
interaction with our guards all the damn time. Like he's a prototype point forward that's just forced to play
Exactly.
5.
And he had a lot of mismatches, but like for some reason, his offensive IQ is really low, but his defensive IQ, Bams, because he had a lot of mismatches in
Offensive
the
IQ.
paint, but instead of
It's
instead of trying to lay it up or dunk, he was.
That's not an IQ thing. That's literally just a skill set thing. That's not his game. His offensive IQ is through the roof in my opinion. Being able to pass the way he does, being able to run the pick and roll the way he does, being the offensive hub for this team, and the reason why guys like Duncan, Gabe get so many open shots, or Strus, there's a reason why he's as good as he is. But the way we're using him, making him play with his back to the basket, backing down guys, that's a center's role. He's not a center. That's not his skill set. That's why it looks bad sometimes in offense. But he can very much be a guy that's giving you 20 points per game, 8 to 9 rebounds, between 5 to 7 assists per game, 1.5 steals, and as a roamer, he could be averaging upwards of 1 block per game, and switching out to everybody on the perimeter while shooting probably about 55% from the field, because he, with his actual skill set, especially on a team that he's not looked to be the main offensive hub like we was in the finals. That's not his game. I mean, the main offensive scorer on offense.
I probably shouldn't have said offensive IQ. I should have said his shot selection it's just atrocious at times. Like there'll be times where he'll be aggressive and lay it up and dunk, but then there'll be times where he has a mismatch and he'll just take a stupid bunny. Like I get it, you feel comfortable taking it, but he's smaller than you. Just push him, back him down to the basket, and then turn around, and then you're closer to the basket. So all you gotta do is literally kiss it off the glass. But you keep settling for mid-range jumpers, and it's like, oh, especially when they're falling.
Because there's a couple plays. It's a lot easier said than done because there's a couple plays where he did try that, and immediately the help came over and fucked him up. With Bam, I'm not gonna make it seem like he is something that he isn't, and of course we're playing him in a way that isn't best suited for his play style, and he's a lot better. I think he proved to a lot of people that he's a lot better than people ever thought he was, and he opened a lot of people's eyes. I think obviously people realize that if there's at most there's maybe 2 defenders that's comparable to him in the NBA, but if not, he's the best defender in the NBA when it comes to versatility alone and guarding guys straight up. You look at what Anthony Davis was trying to do against Jokic, and you look at how Bam played him. It was complete night and day. The versatility he brings on the offensive end and the defensive end, people love him. Honestly, it's just the 48% from 2 this series is the reason why we needed Tyler. Tyler is one of the best players, is the best player on this team in the pick and roll with Bam. I think they were, top 10 in pick and roll efficiency as a duo versus everybody else in this league. And there's a reason why those 2 guys have so much synergy on the offensive end in that pick and roll, because Tyler's either able to get straight to the rim, finish over guys, or he has that automatic pull up midi. Same thing with Bam. It just sucks that we didn't have him in the time when we really did need him, and I really thought he was gonna play that game 4, but I guess Spo just didn't really want to risk it.
To me, it was the finals, man. There was no real excuse. Like, I get it. Yes, you risk further potential injury to the hand, but if that's really the case, as soon as you feel something like off with your hand, look at Spo and say, "Take me out." That's it. You don't even have to be in there for long. Just try. Like, you're in the NBA finals. I don't think
the decision was his. I don't think it was his. I think it was definitely the coaching staff and Spo decided not to play him instead of him, because I'm 1,000% sure he probably wanted to play.
If that's the case, then he shouldn't have even suited up if Spo was going to do that. So I think the blame does fall on Spo as well as in that scenario. Yeah.
at the end of the day, I'm not gonna really blame anybody for that final series. We were still overmatched in a sense as a team. It is what it is. What's the value for Duncan and Tyler as it relates to draft compensation or contracts or value? Right now, Duncan next season is making $18.5 million. Tyler is after July 1st, the poison pill that's in his contract for trading him I think is gone, and he will be making $27 million next year. So together, they're making 45 upwards of 45 million when you put their contracts together. In a lot of trade conversations, I don't see any teams in the top 10 in the draft that's willing to trade for both those guys and give up a top 10 pick. And right now, that's not what Miami is looking for. The best thing for those guys is a trade for Bradley Beal. And if you're going to trade for Damian Lillard, it's going to be for probably Tyler, Kyle, Nikola Jovic, 3 first-round picks, and maybe even Duncan too. But for those two guys alone, I think the max you get is Bradley Beal.
I don't think they can go. Well, they can get rid of him, but I don't think they want to get rid of Jovic because he's kind of like a power. He's kind of like a power forward Tyler Hero because he could handle the ball. He could bring it up the court. He can shoot threes. He can play the pick and roll. He can space the floor, and he's tall, which we desperately need. So,
hey,
I don't think they can afford
that.
That
may be true. That may be true. But if we have a chance to throw him in a trade and we get both Bradley Beal and Kristaps Porzingis, or we get Damian Lillard, Nikola Jovic, I don't care what anybody says. There's a 0.01% chance that he's ever as good as Damian Lillard in his career. You make that move to get Dame. I don't care how much you want to keep him. You make that move to get freaking Dame.
Fair point.
Bam plays the force. Bam playing the force actually lets him guard Giannis. It's amazing since he can switch to anyone he wants. Yes, exactly. Him and Jimmy as both roamers at the same time on the court is havoc on the defensive end. I need that in my life.
Imagine if it. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just reading the comments. Jimmy will load manage next season. Only more and more games where he won't play. Yeah, most likely he's getting older. He's getting older in age. So I think, especially if we do get a guy like Bradley Beal, or we get like two guys, or we get overall better as a team where we can survive a couple of games without him. He's obviously said he doesn't care about all NBA teams or all-star selection, stuff like that. So yes, I think he will see less time, so he's ready for the playoffs. But the problem is that a lot of the injuries he's seen in the playoffs have not been his fault. It's not his fault that Peyton Pritchard decided to pull his knee apart. It's not his fault that Josh Hart kicked his ankle out. Like, these are all things that really are just freak accidents sometimes that you really can't do nothing about.
Exactly. But yeah, I was gonna say say imagine if we had a proper 5 in that Bucks series, like especially with Jimmy getting frustrated about Bab not knowing when to switch on to Brook Lopez. It's in game 4 when he dropped 56, and then he was like yelling at Bam like, "Yo, take Brook and I'll take Giannis." Imagine if we had a 5 to guard Brook, and Bam wouldn't have to worry about him. And then
I wouldn't mind KP here.
Easily guard Giannis. Sorry, man.
That's why if we can find a way to actually get both Bradley Beal and KP, that's the thing I would love, because KP, he wants to play the 4, and I don't mind Bam still being the 5, but his role on the defensive end is what I want. In the sense that Bam will still be able to be a roamer now, and KP will be that rim protector, the drop center that, vertically the rim, that if you somehow make his pass a front court of Bam and Jimmy, you still have KP back there that can still send shots away. It's basically the Bucks defense, but on crack.
Oh, okay.
Because instead of Chris Middleton being the third forward, the third forward or the next guy in the front court, you have Jimmy Butler being in that area.
Oh, okay. I wasn't really thinking about KP, but I could see the appeal. Yeah,
I think right now with all the news that Bradley Beal's trade value is not too high, and Miami could probably get him without even trying to give up Tyler Hero. I think that's a couple of the rumors that are going around. I think the main thing right now is probably trying to get both. But right now, I don't think you're gonna see that trade happen within the next. I don't think you see that trade happen before the draft. And I don't even think you see that trade
Probably not.
happen before free agency starts. I think that trade may happen around July, maybe 8th, 9th, around that place. Not anywhere time in the next next 2 weeks or so. I think Washington is gonna take their time, especially with Bradley Beal having a no trade clause. He's gonna be involved in all of these trade talks. So I think you see them take their time. They're gonna evaluate every single offer they can find, and they're gonna take the best one available. But right now, I just don't see a team that's gonna have a better offer than what Miami wants to give up, because Boston, they don't have anything to give up what's the name would want, freaking that Washington would want. Washington wants young players and draft picks. The only young players that Boston has is Grant Williams, Peyton Pritchard, and I think that 2029 pick. They can't trade. They don't have what to offer. Philadelphia, you're gonna have to give up Tyrese Maxey, and if James Harden walks, there's no point in bringing Bradley Beal here when both Bradley Beal and Jason and Joel Embiid is both as injury prone as they are, and your offense does not get much better with Bradley Beal in the position that James Harden was. It just doesn't make any sense to bring him in. I think you just take a gap year on that and just try to get better the next following season. Guys like Milwaukee don't have the package to do it either. Yeah, there's all the teams in the running that probably Bradley Beal will want to go to. They don't really have a way to facilitate that trade better than Miami does. So I don't even think that those things are even a problem to really think about.
Yeah.
It's not whether we love Tyler or not. It's getting someone already in their prime and better than Hero, currently maximizing Jimmy's window. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I love Tyler. I wouldn't. It's gonna hurt if we win a ring and we don't have Tyler here. After all the bullshit he's been through and not being able to win with this team, it's gonna suck. But at the end of the day, if you're gonna maximize right now, Jimmy and Bam are our two best players, and we're gonna try to maximize their window to win this championship right now. And if that's having to say goodbye to Tyler, you got to make the hard decision sometimes, and you got to go that way.
So be
right
it.
now, Toronto decided to move off DeMar DeRozan, and look, they won a championship that way.
Oh, speaking of Toronto, what do you think about Fred Van Vliet? Okay.
I'm sorry, but no. No more undersized guards that can't play defense are just shot chucking threes. No, I don't need it. No, please.
I'm only throwing his name out there because of like Kyle Lowry. Obviously, his knees are short, and defensively,
we don't
pretty
need
much
Tyler to get someone.
opposite.
Sorry, I'm reading the comments. Just like Tyler here won't get you an elite player 1-for-1. Yeah, we don't need Tyler to get you an elite player 1-for-1. We don't. The package here is Tyler with something else plus draft picks. This is not, or Tyler and Jovic plus something else plus draft picks. This is not a Tyler 1-for-1 straight up for anybody. We know we're not going to get a bunch for that. Damn, there's a lot of shit. Brook Lopez. The problem with Brook Lopez is I don't know how much money he's gonna command in Milwaukee. Obviously, is gonna need him to still be able to be championship contenders, or they don't. I don't know what their new coach system is gonna be. But the problem with Brook Lopez is if you get Dame or if you get Bradley Beal and KP, the problem you don't have your mid-level exception anymore to be able to use on somebody like Brook. That's the problem. You need to get Brook in a sign and trade, and Milwaukee's not going to be the team. Milwaukee's not going to sit here and try to help Miami by helping them get freaking Brook Lopez. That's not going to freaking happen.
Yeah, that's why I don't think Milwaukee's giving up Brook Lopez, especially not to Miami. Like,
if Miami keeps Hero, I think still Westbrook at the mid level can get you 15, 10 assists, 6 rebounds. This way, Miami can move off Duncan a lot.
I was gonna throw Westbrook's name out there. I was gonna say if we could get him on the low. Personally, I would because of his play style. And I know, like, him and Donovan Mitchell pretty much fit Heat culture to a T. And I know, Westbrook is never gonna take a play off. He's always gonna give you 100% every single game. And he's not that injury prone.
That. Yeah, he's not that injury prone, but let's kill the 100% on every single play thing. That man, I've seen that man take so many defensive plays off. It's not even funny. Let's not get too crazy here. I understand. I don't mind the Westbrook thing. The problem here is that is he gonna buy into the play style? Is the role that he's going to get if he comes here? Like, again, teams are gonna do what they do with every single team he's on. They're gonna leave him wide open the 3-point line, and he's gonna have to make those decisions by himself. And I don't know. Jimmy obviously has shown so many times that he doesn't want to take threes in the regular season. He barely want to take them in the playoffs sometimes.
Mm.
Do
Oh yeah.
there's just too many there's too many questions right now with getting Westbrook. I need something solidified here. I need something solidified that obviously makes us better. So we know that in the East we're good enough to at least beat Boston handily. We're able to beat Philly handily. We'll be able to even beat Milwaukee handily. We can handle somebody from the West. And while Westbrook could be a positive for this team, it doesn't move me to the point where I would want to make that move. If after everything we made enough moves, and let's say Dame is out of the picture, we don't get KP, but we get Bradley Beal, and we have because I think each team has two middle level exceptions, and if we play our cards right, we could be under both tax aprons in the new CBA, so we still have both middle level exceptions, and if we can pull if we can pull Westbrook and
You cut off.
hmm?
Oh, you cut off at the end.
Oh, I said, oh my bad. I just said, yeah, you don't go out of your way to go get Westbrook. You really don't. Bam at the five
Yeah,
is
that's
fine. We just need another tall 3 and D player next to Bam to space the floor.
no, no, no. We need. I'm telling you, we need a five. If this look, if
The
if
problem with
the
Bam,
final, if
the problem with Bam is that he already looks so good at the five. Like he's a top three. Well, it depends on what you think Anthony Davis is, but he's a top three, top four center in the league if he's playing the five. The problem
plays
is
like a AD
he
plays
would
like a
be
guard,
so
like
much
literally.
better at the
Exactly.
four.
This is why I keep saying we need a five. Because if we had a five, do you people think Bam looks good now at the five? Put him at the four and put okay. Imagine Whiteside when he was a defensive machine. Imagine him at the five and you have Bam at the four. Imagine that. Imagine how better Bam would look at the four.
Well, Beal is in it. Well, yeah, if it's just Beal and Phil and Tyler's role, like I don't think that's gonna push us crazy over the edge to anywhere. One, Beal is better than Tyler Hero. Let me get that straight. Beal is better than Tyler Hero. Yes, that doesn't move me when we're playing against a lot of teams from the West. But the problem is here is the guy. If depending on the guys you move to get Bradley Beal, we can also get other players to facilitate that. Like I said, like 15 times so far in the stream, you have the money. You still have your middle level of sessions to use, um, and you can still with Bradley Beal's, we heard about his trade value. You still have guys you can move to get other people too. So it's not just if we get Beal, is I'm almost 1,000%, 100% sure, almost 100% sure it's not just going to be him added to this team this season. If we just get Bradley Beal,
Yeah, most likely. But
what about
if it's
spacing?
just
Bam
Bill
doesn't space
from
the floor. When
Washington,
you get no, that's what I'm saying. When you box a million, when you get a five next to Bam, I'm not talking about getting a freaking Nick Claxton or somebody like that. No, I'm talking about getting a five that stretches the floor or a bigger guy that can play drop in that sense and allow Bam to roam on the defensive end. That's what I'm saying. Get a guy like KP in a sense where KP may play the four, but on the defensive end, he's in the drop. He's the one in the back line of the defense protecting the rim, while Bam's able to roam on the defensive end and be at least in the top of that Brooke Lopez with Fit Bam in the four. No, I'm not gonna lie. Let me see what his numbers. Before I say his name, I'm gonna look at his numbers for real quick. I'm not gonna say his name though. Well, I've already said his name this stream, but just bear with me here. The last couple of years, yeah, he's right where I wanted him to be. A guy like Jonas Valanciunas is a perfect guy that you want to put next to Bam. A guy like that can stretch the floor. He's averaged about two and a half threes per game for the past couple seasons. No, wait, two, 1.5. So not too much, but he's shooting 36, 37, 36, 35% from three. A guy that can rebound pretty effectively. And while he's not the best rim protector in the world, he's a guy that has some size that can clean the glass and at least has a strong enough body that you can put him in a position where he can be a has enough verticality to at least give Bam some, I guess, ease the headache of always having to be that rim protector and coming back down. There's the couple guys that can shoot from back there that you can put in this that can put on this team that can help them. On offense, it'll be tough. Not if you get a guy that can be able to shoot the three, it's not that tough. It'd be the same way of having Kevin Love in the lineup. It'd be the same
Exactly.
way of having Kevin Love in the lineup. It'd be the same way we've been using PJ in the lineup.
Yep.
Same way you use those guys. Unless it's KP. Of course, KP is way too good offensively for not featuring him a lot more in an offense. But if a guy like Brook Lopez, if it's a guy like Miles Turner, if it's a guy like Jonas Valanciunas, those are guys that you use the same way you use Kevin Love and those guys, but they're better rim protectors. Their defensive upside is better than those guys can. Those guys are hard to come. I know. I think Jonas is a free agent this year. Actually,
okay.
Let me make sure. I know Brook is a free agent this year.
I think
23. Oh no, wait. Jonas is under contract for next season for 15 million. Okay. But Brook is not under contract this year. Of course, you're not gonna get a Miles Turner for that. But another guy like Nas Reed, stuff like that. The thing is not impossible to come up. It's not impossible to come up on guys like that. Again, I'm not saying that you force it, pushing Bam to the 4 if you don't have to, but the best thing for him would be to move him to the 4.
That's all I've been saying all season. Like literally, if you could finally get a big to push Bam to put Bam in the 4, we'd literally be sweet. Like even if they gave, I know you don't like.
He has one. He has 23, 2024. He has next season. That's it. That's his contract ends after then. Depending on what the Pelicans are doing, because it may look like, depends on what they with all the rumors surrounding, obviously with Zion and all the issues. If they're looking to move off Zion, that makes guys like Jonas very, very available, because now you're looking to restart a whole rebuild again, because I think Brandon Ingram is only 25. Like, they have some young guys. That makes guys like CJ, that makes guys like Jonas, that makes guys like Nazim Marshall, stuff like that, very available for teams to go after if they're serious about moving off of Zion. Now, obviously, they probably keep him. Isn't Nas of unrestricted free? Maybe he's a restricted free agent and they match any offer that teams give him. But also, the Timberwolves, that stupid to think that you pay Nas Reed that much money, you keep Rudy Gobert. There's a lot of things that's wrong with the NBA right now. That's another guy that probably gets moved. Never mind. The Timberwolves probably do want to look at that, because never mind. They probably do keep him because all the rumors surrounding right now is that they move off Cat.
Huh. Jeez. But that's a good move for them, because Anthony Edwards has proved that he's your guy, no Cat. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and right now it's just the too big thing with him and Rudy Gobert just isn't gonna work. And right now he's the guy that's gonna get you the most return.
Yeah.
Jimmy Bam, trade Hilo, trade Lowry, re-sign Vincent, trade Duncan, Oladipo, player option, Strus walks, Highsmith, Yurt walks, Caleb. Jimmy Bam, trade Hero, trade Lowry, yes. Re-sign Vincent, yes. Trade Duncan only if it's a deal that makes sense. Oladipo, player option, he stays. Obviously, he's gonna take his 10 million. Strus walks, abso-freaking-lutely. Highsmith, yes. Yurt walks, depends on if we can get a backup 5. If a backup 5 isn't in the talks, Yurt isn't gonna command that much money. I think he may command maybe less of what Caleb even required. I think you give him that money.
I'd say
I agree with most of what you said, but don't be too much of a rush to move off Duncan and those guys, especially since Duncan is a very good salary filler.
Exactly. And I'd say re-sign Caleb as well, because Caleb was consistent.
We already have Caleb's already locked up for 2 more seasons. I don't know why people were talking about. Okay. I don't know why people were talking about. Oh, he's gonna get paid. He's already was paid. Like, trust me, we got him for a deal. I think it was 3 years, 20 million. We have him for 2 more seasons.
Okay, that's good. With Duncan though, I'd say I'd agree with you. Like, only trade him if it makes sense. Don't trade him for the sake of it. Like, because
it's not
during the playoffs he was consistent as well.
Yeah, and if we trade Tyler and we trade Kyle, most likely it's going to be for Bradley Beal or Dame. So we're going to be back in the same contract situations. Just trading Duncan is not going to give us any type of cap space. So you only trade him if it's needed.
Exactly.
Oh, not suggesting, asking what the roster would look like, trying to make trades for Beal and Dame. Okay, then yeah, okay, never mind. Let me go back in it. Okay, it'd be if it's Damian Lillard, just Dame by himself, it'd be Dame at the one, Dame at the one, Caleb at the two, Jimmy at the three, Bam at the four. I mean Bam at the five. What the four? That's tough. If it's Kyle, if it's both Kyle and Hero, then we have our middle level exceptions to use, even if we do get Dame. So that you can look in the open market for guys like that can fill those roles. Um, Trade Duncan again always makes sense. And if you trade for Dame, I don't know how much more sense because I don't think you trade Duncan 1 for 1 for anybody, and we're gonna use all our picks in that Dame trade. If anything, if we're gonna trade for Dame, you most likely try to make it a 2 to 3 team deal, and we're bringing back K Love, but I don't want K Love. Great off the bench, the guy I don't want to start in those situations. But if we're bringing back, if we're trading for Dame, I would want it to be like a 2-3 team deal. And at least bring back one or two, bring back at least another player with Dame. There's a couple trades I have in my mind, but a lot of them I don't know, don't really make sense yet. I'll look through it. I still have to finish the what happens now for the Heat video, and it'll probably be out tomorrow. I still have a lot of things to make sure look at certain salaries and contracts and see how they work and what's best works for my scheme, especially with the players. But as of right now, I've said it before, the only players that have an assured spot left on this roster next season is Bam and is Jimmy. Everybody else is expendable.
Would you say if Highsmith stays, would you say start him at the 4?
No.
I know he adds pretty much nothing
No,
offensively, but defensively, yeah, defensively,
he's not. He can hit some open shots, and he knows how to cut well, but that's really it. And I don't need another PJ. He's basically PJ Tucker's size without PJ Tucker's abilities.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. If only literally only if he stays, and then if Kevin Love gets moved to the bench, we still don't have a proper 4. So it's like
our bench right now. If we trade for Dame, I say we don't trade Duncan, but our bench would most likely look like if we resign Vincent would be Gabe, would be Duncan, would be Caleb, would be K-Love, would probably be also Yurt. That would be what our bench would most likely look like. If we trade for Bradley Beal and KP, most likely our bench would look like Caleb, would look like would look like Caleb, would look like Love, would look like Yurt, and would look like Highsmith.
Wouldn't you say if we could keep Gabe, wouldn't you say start Gabe at the 1, put Dame if we get Dame, put Dame at the 2, Jimmy at the 3,
whoever
at the 4.
Too undersized at the guard spot. 6'2" and 6'2", no.
I'd only say that because I know Spo loves to put Kyle Lowry and Gabe in at the same time. So
if we trade for Dame, though, Kyle's probably going.
Yeah, but
if we trade for Dame, though, Kyle's probably gone.
When Gabe goes to the bench, move Dame. When Gabe goes to the bench, move Dame to the 1, and then obviously he.
Yes,
he runs the second unit off. Yeah, obviously he would run the second unit off the bench. But then, that might be too much playing time. But that's what I was thinking. If Dame comes.
2 problems here. I think Jeremy Grant's contract. Jeremy Grant's contract is already up. I think his contract is already up, and he's looking for a new deal. I don't know, or did Portland extend him? I think they tried to extend him, and he rejected the offer. Actually, it said he was going to test open market because he was having a really, really good year. Yeah, his contract is already up, so he's a free agent. So it's not, we can't
Oh,
really
okay.
trade for him unless we trade and then re-sign. We just do a sign and trade and then re-sign him. And even if we could trade for him, your bitches are big, my guy. You think we can get Dame and Jeremy Grant at the same time? That's kind of nuts. He play again. You can play big all you want, but when you have a 6'11" guy in your face, you're gonna see how big you really are. 6'4" ain't big
Exactly.
enough. He can play big, but it's just sometimes it's not gonna be enough. He isn't PJ. He's great. He's great. He's great. The max you want to put Haywood Highsmith on is a 6'9" guy like a Jason Tatum. Nobody over that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, because he tried guarding Jokic, and that was just horrible. But to be fair, Jokic was switching on everybody and then just tearing them apart. So.
Oh, he can survive. Oh yeah, Haywood can survive at the 3. That's not a problem. But the cap space will be limited with Dame, Duncan, Jimmy, and Bam. Yes, but that depends on who you move for Dame. If it's right now, the main if you move Dame would most likely be Tyler, would be Kyle, would be Jovic, would be all 3 of our first round picks. And if they call for Caleb, I'm not gonna lie, wallahi, you gotta go Caleb. but
I don't think that's the thing. I don't think they'd let Caleb go though. So
if it's Dame, they're 1,000% letting Caleb go. If it's Dame, they're 1,000% throwing Caleb in there. I'm not gonna lie to you. As long as it's not for Jimmy and Bam, they're letting Caleb go. Now, if we're able to get
and then
4 players,
3 players and 2 picks, 4 players and 2 picks,
no,
or 1. No, they're not doing that. No, they
no, 4 players and 3 picks. It'd be 20, but it'd be
they would not do that.
You don't know Pat Riley. Pat Riley is star hunting.
To be fair, apparently he made an offer for Kyrie, and then I think the Nets weren't going for it. So
the Nets also didn't. The Nets just didn't want to help an Eastern Conference opponent. That's another thing why it'd be hard to get Brook Lopez, because he'd have to be a signing trade, and Milwaukee's not going to want to help Miami. It's those situations where it's a rival team that's going to probably be a problem for you also, so you don't really do a trade with them because it's going to probably screw you up too later. And there's a reason why Cleveland didn't want to buy Kevin Love at first, because they realized Miami was going to go after him, and they're probably going to be a problem for them too. It's just a game of chess here. Duncan, Bam, and Jimmy and Dame, yes, but you can still right now if that's the core that you have taking up maximum your money. Let's say the worst case scenario, and Caleb is also gone in this scenario. Yes. Most likely at that point you're gonna have to start Kevin Love, which hurts my soul. And then your bench, it's gonna be very, very. Your bench would look like Gabe leading the helm of it, Haywood Highsmith, Yurtsevin, and then whatever else you can probably fill in on the back line of that. So it probably wouldn't look too great.
Kevin, obviously, I know he doesn't look that great, but he knows what he's doing. I'll say that. Like when he starts, he knows Kevin Love. Like he does. Yeah, obviously he doesn't look. He's nowhere near where he used to be. But I'd say he could do his job. So
the reason Kyrie went for that in the market, we all know why Kyrie went for that in the market. It's not because of skill level. It was just because of skill level. He would have went for much higher. But we all know why he went for that in the market. There's a reason why people were shooting so low, especially also with his injury history and how teams view him as a personality too. Like, the thing is like, we're not going to be able to get anyone. We're not going to be able to get anyone to push us over the edge if we're too shy with what we're doing here. Most likely, you're going to have to give up Tyler with Lowry, somebody else, most likely Jovic, too, along with 3 picks to get Dame. It's gonna have to happen that way. I'm sorry, but it's going to have to happen that way. If you don't make that trade, you just go after Bradley Beal. Again, I don't think that pushes over the edge that crazy against any of the other teams. You're going to have to make that trade crazy trade for Dame to be able to put you over the edge. You're gonna have to make those decisions. Yes, it's gonna suck because you're probably gonna screw your future a little bit too. But at this point, you're trying to maximize the next 2 years with Jimmy's and the rest of what Jimmy can give us. Jimmy's 34 years old next season. Like this is the last of what we're probably gonna get for him at the level that we've seen the past 2 years. maximize this championship window and go all in on trying to win a championship now. That's what we have to do. By protecting any of those picks or protecting any of those players and trying to, hey, if this doesn't work out, at least we have these picks later in our career so we can be better. It's not gonna work, man. You're gonna have to give it up. Like playing the two-way sided thing of protecting the young guys, but keeping the young guys, but also better for your future is the same way Golden State's in the situation they are in right now. At least Golden State won their championship instead of losing when they went to the finals. There's a reason why they're in the situation they're right now, where now there's not too many avenues where they can be back as a true championship contender next year. There's a reason why Boston, I know, is never going to go anywhere with the roster they have right now because they're too pussy to realize that you're not going to win with Jaylen Brown. I know they're trying to have this whole we won it with our core Golden State Denver Nuggets type thing. But guess what? Jason Tatum isn't Steph Curry. He isn't Nikola Jokic. You're going to need to move off of Jaylen Brown to get somebody better if you want to win a championship. And right now we're talking this whole thing about Dame. Again, there's so much news about Dame not even wanting to be moved anymore. So who knows if Dame is even available. Right now, I think the main focus is Bradley Beal and probably even KP along with that. You wouldn't bet on that team making the gauntlet that is the East? I would. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What, you wouldn't bet on who?
No, I'm saying he said
no
he wouldn't bet on
I'm reading the comments.
Team of Duncan. He wouldn't bet on our team if we give up all of that for Dame making the gauntlet. I definitely would. Philadelphia, obviously, most likely losing James Harden. Even if they keep James Harden, I fully believe we can beat Philadelphia. Milwaukee,
easily.
They're just getting older and older as time goes on. We can beat Milwaukee. Boston is really the only problem here. Boston would be the only problem here, and offensively, it puts us at a way higher level to stretch Boston thin. If we're able to get a 5, right now, I wouldn't worry about Boston offensively too much if we're able to at least switch Bam onto Jason Tatum too much. I think we have more than enough chance with that roster to be able to win a championship. I think that's the best chance we've had.
To be fair, our offense is the only thing that's inconsistent. Like our defense has always been solid, but our offense is too inconsistent. So I would say I'm not worried about like the playoffs next year, like because I know that. Well,
don't remind me about him. No, I'm talking about the comment. Don't remind me about him. That game, I'm so glad we won that game.
Good.
I never have to see that game winner ever again in my life. Thank you, God.
But again, that's a Max Strus. That was more of a Max Strus problem than a Derek White is him problem. Because Max Strus didn't box
it wasn't. It was a Derek White's him problem. It was a Luck and Derek White's him problem because Matt Spo even said what we wanted to do was sell out on Jason Tatum, make sure he didn't catch the ball. The guy you wanted to catch the ball wasn't Marcus Smart. He got the shot off, cool. But again, the ball could have bounced 50 different ways. Somehow, 0.01% of the chance, Luck of the Irish, it bounces directly to this motherfucker right in his hands as he's jumping, and he puts it right back in with 0.01 on the clock. Like, that's next level.
Which should have never been on the clock. It should have never been on the clock.
No. It was right. The game clock in the arena versus the game clock on the broadcast wasn't synced up. It wasn't exactly synced. So the time they put on the game clock versus what was in the actual thing was it was actually right. Like I was pissed too when I first saw it, and then I saw the explanation later by the ref. I'm like, okay, never mind. Because they even showed you the replay in the arena. Like, yeah, it was the right amount of time they put on the clock. It was just the fattest amount of luck I've ever seen in my life.
Jeez.
Jovic probably got little to no value. Not necessarily. Young guys like that, that's all that was already showing the ability to handle the ball like he did. Like he had a pretty good summer league last year, and I think he before any trades happen, summer league is gonna have to happen. I don't think right now we're gonna see any trades for the next trades to Miami at least next 20-25 days. I don't think we're gonna see any of these trades be made by that time. And I think that gives enough time for guys like Jovic to show what they can do in the summer league. At least, give himself some trade value. understand what you're saying, but that's also because Washington is stupid. This is why people are saying that you could probably get Bradley Beal for little to nothing because they're stupid and they make those mistakes.
Yeah.
I just want to. I just don't know, man. I do know. I want Dame at the top of it, but Bradley Beal and KP is a great consolation prize.
Yeah. So it's like Dame's
Luckily for us, all
Dame's
these
what?
trade rumors, even if they don't make a big trade, I think they'll make it to the finals. Not gonna lie to you, we come back next year. We come back next year with the same team we have this year. We're getting smoked. I'm not gonna lie to you, Bo. We're not winning. We're getting smoked. Like so many things had to go right for us to win this year, and I'm not next
Literally.
year.
Literally.
We're not gonna be. I don't think we're gonna be in the same position to be able to win like this again next year. Like,
and you know what's so funny? So many things had. Oh no, go ahead.
I said the only team I think I'm very confident in us beating next year would be the Sixers. But like Celtics, they don't play like a team. But that's at the end of the day, you see how close they got to pulling history out on our ass. Trust me.
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Even though so many things went right for us these playoffs, don't forget that things still went wrong. Like Tyler went down, even though that was a good thing. Victor literally had a season-ending, injury. Jimmy rolled his ankle. Gabe rolled his ankle. Bam got hurt.
Jimmy didn't roll his ankle. Jimmy got his ankle kicked the fuck out.
Sorry, Jimmy got taken out. Gabe rolled his ankle, and Bam had a Bam's shoulder was messed up, and his
shoulder and hamstring. I mean,
exactly.
But when you get in the playoffs, everybody's a little bit messed up. The only real big injuries was the Jimmy ankle. The Jimmy ankle, losing Vic, Depot. The big injuries were Jimmy's ankle, Tyler out the entire playoffs, and Vic out the entire playoffs.
Yeah.
And again, looking how bad our offense looked, looking how bad against Denver, looking how bad our offense looked in those last 4 games against Boston. I don't know how anybody could have looked at it and say we didn't need Tyler in those situations. Like, all right, but this shit's about to be an hour 45 minutes, man. I'm gonna put the link. Thank you for coming up, Dan. I'm gonna put the link one more time if anybody else wants to come in. No problem, no. I'm gonna put the link again if anybody wants to come up, but if you don't, I'm probably gonna get the hell out of here because I still gotta go finish that video and I have a lot of stuff coming out. I'm probably uploading tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday actually. So I probably am uploading for the next 4 straight days. So links in if everybody wants to pop in, but if not, I'm gonna get the hell out of here. I have no clue what the NBA circle thinks of Heat players. Some have said that they don't trust Heat players because Spo gets most. That's also true. But here's the thing that you could say that about aren't in those trade talks. Caleb is only in trade talks for Dame. That's it. He's not in trade talks for anybody else. And Duncan and Max we're letting walk. And Gabe obviously would probably want to resign anyway. So right now, the only Kyle has already been proven. Tyler's proven. Who else would be in trade rumors? Duncan's proven. Jovic is young, and we have those picks. Those are the guys that would really be in trade rumors. This is why I don't really have a problem. If we were looking to trade guys like freaking if we're looking to trade guys like Gabe or a Max Strus, then it'd be a problem because teams wouldn't trust that. But right now, the players that are in trade conversations are proven themselves in high stakes area. Duncan, almost every single postseason, he's proved himself. Usually, teams are able to lean on their young prospects when their money is tied to big contracts when they go into free agency. Look at Josh's and Tyler Johnson's contracts. Yeah. Anyway, guys. Okay, so nobody wants to come up. Okay, that's it. I will have the video out to you guys tomorrow, I promise. But again, that being said, this is FLB. That's my time, and I'm out. Thank damn, I was only planning to be on here for like 30, 45 minutes. Hour 45 is crazy. Thank y'all for actually this stream did a lot better than I thought it would. So thank y'all for all the love and popping in. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're gonna be streaming a lot more this offseason, especially when new rumors come out. And overall, just to talk about basketball overall, especially during summer league and stuff. But yeah.